No one claps for the life you live in silence. No one applauds the nights you stay strong when everything feels heavy. No one celebrates the battles you fight quietly inside your own mind. And yet, those silent victories might be the most powerful ones of all. This is a story about a life no one applauds, and why it might be more meaningful than you've ever been told. From the moment we are young, we are shown what a successful life looks like. Loud achievements, public recognition, big moments that people can point at and say, "That's it. That's success." We admire the people on stages, the ones with titles, trophies, and headlines, the ones whose lives look impressive from the outside. And slowly, without realizing it, we learn something dangerous. That if your life is quiet, if no one is watching, if no one is applauding, then maybe it doesn't matter as much. But most lives don't look like that. Most people wake up early, not for glory, but for responsibility. They show up to jobs they don't love, not because they're weak, but because someone depends on them. They keep going, even when the world gives them no encouragement at all. There are no cameras, no speeches, no applause, just effort, consistency, and quiet resilience. These lives rarely make headlines, but they make everything else possible. Let me tell you about someone like that. No famous name, no extraordinary talent, just an ordinary person living an ordinary life. They wake up, follow routines, carry worries they don't talk about, and keep going. From the outside, nothing about their life looks impressive, but inside, there is strength most people never see. They've had moments where quitting would have been easier, moments where loneliness sat beside them at night, moments where doubt whispered, "What's the point?" They've failed more times than they've succeeded. They've questioned themselves more than they've been praised, and still, they showed up the next day. Not because they felt motivated, but because they chose to continue. A life without applause feels heavy because there's no external proof that it matters. No likes, no validation, no confirmation that you're doing it right. And when the world is loud with comparison, silence can feel like failure. But silence is not emptiness. Silence is space. Space where character is built. Space where values form. Space where strength grows without needing an audience. Attention is loud. Meaning is quiet. Attention fades the moment people look away. Meaning stays even when no one is watching. A life no one applauds often carries deep meaning because it's not performed. It's lived. And there is a rare kind of freedom in that. Psychology tells us that internal motivation, doing something because it aligns with who you are, creates deeper fulfillment than external rewards ever can. People who live quietly often develop emotional endurance, self-trust, inner stability, not because life was easy, but because they learned how to survive without praise. No one sees the restraint it takes to stay kind when you're exhausted. No one sees the discipline behind consistency. No one sees the courage required to keep going without encouragement. But those moments shape a person more than applause ever could. What if success isn't about being admired, but about being aligned? Aligned with your values, aligned with your purpose, aligned with the person you're becoming. A quiet life doesn't mean a small life. It means a focused one. One day, the noise fades. Titles disappear, applause stops. Recognition ends, but the impact of a quietly lived life remains. In the people you treated gently, in the responsibilities you carried, in the strength you modeled without saying a word. If this story feels like it's about you, that's not a coincidence. You're not behind. You're not insignificant. You're not invisible. You're building something deeper than applause. A life no one applauds requires courage, because you keep going without proof, without recognition, without validation, and that is real power. If this story resonated with you, if it made you feel seen, even just a little, then this channel is for you. Here at Mindtellies, we tell stories for the quiet fighters, the deep thinkers, and the people building meaningful lives without an audience. Like this video, some more quiet stories can reach the people who need them. Subscribe to Mindtellies for a new story every day. Stories that stay with you long after the video ends. Because even if the world doesn't applaud, your story still matters. Thank you for being here.